what do you call it? Like she basically she parrots like the Clinton line like constantly. That's her entire project. So that's there's dear Tandon. Wow, you hear that?
No.
One of my cats have just been kind of going crazy, like I don't know. She's fixed, but somehow she's also like still like able to be in heat, and so she's now like Phoebe just like starts screaming constantly, just like trying to get attention. All right, so that's enough of that. What's up with you? You got a story?
No, we got much going on. I don't have a job. Ain't got no check.
No job, no check. Yeah, I sent Mom a text because apparently people are eligible for the COVID vaccine around here now. At least, well, I can, like, they have, like, right after the show today, I have to like sign up for it because apparently, like, teachers just got green lighted for the vaccine, and there's, you know, I might be getting the vaccine finally. Good news, right?
Yeah, I might go to the VA and get it.
Yeah, I definitely do that. Definitely do that.
It's the Pfizer one, which doesn't spread or something.
I don't know crap about like the actual like Mark Allen. Like maybe we need to get him back on the show, but like he's the vaccine guy. You know what I mean? Speaking of COVID, now that you brought it up, here is a story that actually kind of made me like a little bit terrified yesterday. Pull it up. So Fauci's like the doctor guy, right? You know, Trump decided that he hated. Well, here's a clip from him talking about how we might be wearing masks all the way down to 2022. Let me read the article first. Dr. Anthony Fauci said Sunday that it's possible Americans will need a significant degree of normality by the end of the may reach a significant degree of normality by the end of this year. Ask CNN's Dana Bash at the State of the Union whether he thinks Americans will still need to wear masks next year. Fauci replied, "You know, I think it's possible that that's the case, and again, it really depends on by normality." All right, here we go. Let's find the clip. Let's watch this clip. I'd rather hear his like New York voice than mine, probably.
What?
You and the president have suggested that we'll approach normality toward the end of the year. What does normal mean? Do you think Americans will still be wearing masks, for example, in 2022?
You know, I think it is possible that that's the case. And again, it really depends on what you mean by normality.
If right, normality that's what I want you to define
exactly the way it. No, Dana, it's important because if normality means exactly the way things were before we had this happen to us, I mean, I can't predict that. I mean, obviously, I think we're going to have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden that all of us have been through over the last year, that as we get into the fall and the winter by the end of the year, I agree with the president completely that we will be approaching a degree of normality. It may or may not be precisely the way it was in November of 2019, but it'll be much, much better than what we're doing right now.
Why do you think Americans might have to wear masks into 2022?
You know, because it depends on the level of dynamics of virus that's in the community. And that's really important because that gets back to something, again, that you said. If you see the level coming down really, really very low, I want it to keep going down to a baseline that's so low that there's virtually no threat, or not no, it'll never be zero, but a minimal threat that you will be exposed to someone who is infected. So if you combine getting most of the people in the country vaccinated with getting the level of virus in the community very, very low, then I believe you're going to be able to say, for the most part, we don't necessarily have to wear masks. But if we have a level of virus that is at that level that it was months and months ago, like 20,000 per day is a heck of a lot better than what it's been. But that's still very high level of virus in the community. I want to see it go way down. When it goes way down and the overwhelming majority.
So this kind of scares the shit out of me in a lot of ways.
Why?
I don't know about you, but like, there's been like, for some kind of wild reason, the mask thing has been like super politicized, and like, I don't know, it's not to me like that big of a deal to wear a mask all the time. I mean, like, it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But for some people, especially like the Q people, they kind of have this feeling like they're being cucked by the government or whatever. Now it's like cucked by Biden by being forced to wear a mask, and you don't want to be a mask cuck. And I don't know. The fact that he's like saying that, oh, we need to get the numbers so low while we're getting the vaccine. Now I like agree. Like, I think he's right that that's the case, but like, I don't know, you might as well say that you're just going to be wearing masks for a million years. When people think about like the end of next year, still having to wear the masks in public, they might just sort of like feel like, well, there's no end ever in sight,
I mean, I'm probably just gonna wear a mask forever.
Just forever. You're just a mask guy now. I'm probably going to be a mask guy for until like for the foreseeable future. I'm a mask guy. But and then the other thing that's definitely going to happen, I mean, it's already happened in certain places. Governors in different states, I think, I want to say one of the Dakotas, maybe both of the Dakotas, have already lifted like statewide mask mandates. So, I mean, when there's no mask mandate in place, people aren't going to wear the mask. People won't wear the mask when the mask mandate is in place. So, I don't know. I don't know if this helps anything in terms of like, get it like. Fine, talk to him. That's cool, but I don't know if it like helps in the sense that like people are gonna like this is gonna make people comply with that anymore.
I don't understand. I mean, nobody listens to that guy anyway.
That's the thing, right? Nobody listens to. Well, I mean, a lot of people like he's become a politicized guy, and he's not like even a political figure. Really, kind of like a nerd who knows about.
Jocks like Ben Shapiro get to be like, yeah, what a nerd.
Yeah, all right, a real jock Ben Shapiro, like a real alpha him.
Yeah, watch it. He's gonna book dump you.
I don't know. Let's finish the clip.
Majority of the people in the population are vaccinated, then I would feel comfortable in saying, we need to pull back on the masks. We don't need to have masks.
Wow. So your timeline is taking us out a year, maybe 2 years, maybe.
And the way that Dana Bash asks these questions, it's like, wait a minute. Americans are going to have to wear masks for another year, another 2 years? Like it's almost it's almost like childish in the sense that like, you mean we got to, we have to do this? We have to eat our vegetables for 2 years?
I mean, the people that are on the CNN shows, like, who even knows what the people tell them to do all day? Like, like who are the people that tell them like what to say? Like it's ridiculous.
Oh, what a great freeze we have right there! Just the perfect dunk on both of them.
I don't see it.
Look at the freeze frame.
No, that's
one's
terrible.
Rooney, one's Dana Bash. Anyway,
he looks like he's sleeping, like in a meeting.
Yeah, Fauci is definitely falling asleep right there. All right, let's keep going.
Even longer.
No, I can't say that, Dana, and I don't want it to be said that because then it'll be a soundbite that's not true.
Okay, good.
I'm saying we don't know. We don't know. And the president said it very, very well at the very end of his press conference when he was in Michigan at the Pfizer plant. He said, you asked me to make projections. These are just projections that are estimates. And a lot of things can happen to modify that. And that's the reason why we've got to be careful, because you have variants that you need to deal with. There are so many other things that would make a projection that I give you today on this Sunday wind up not being the case 6 months from now.
Well, that's 100% true too, and that's part of the problem that we've had, like in terms of like how people respond to this damn thing. Like people have just been like acting like babies because they want like simple answers. They want like the answer to be easy, right? They want there to be one simple way that like, okay, the doctor said the thing, we have to do that thing for a period of time, and that's it. It's that simple. And you know, there can't be any developments, there can't be anything like that. But the reality is, like, we're learning a lot about the COVID situation, like as time goes, and like Fauci's fucked up a couple of times. I mean, early on when the thing started spreading, this is the most specific one that comes to mind. He basically said, "You don't need to wear a mask. You don't need to wear a mask," and then like he had to reverse himself when he found out that the disease was primarily transferred through aerosolization and breathing and stuff like that. So I don't know. He's had a change in the way that we talk about like the way that we have like our politicized world and everything like that. Like it's not very amenable to like learning things on the fly, and it's not like amenable to like science and stuff, if you know what I mean. Because like once you say something, it's supposed to be like true forever in a certain sense. And if you back down from that, you're like, you don't have convictions and you're a flip flopper and all these other things. And like science don't work like that. You learn stuff and then you adapt to it. And I don't know. What do you think?
People hate a flip flopper. What are you doing? What are you doing? You said something different yesterday. What are you doing now?
Flip flopping Fauci.
What are you doing now? That's not what you said.
Yeah.
What do you change your mind? You got no integrity?
Yeah. It's very, very silly, and it's very, very like childish, but like I don't know, it connects with people. It makes sense to people for some freaking reason. It's ridiculous. I don't know. So much for Fauci.
I don't know. I think he sucks.
I mean, I really don't have an opinion. I don't like the other thing that I kind of like don't really care about that people get like so worked up about is that like people want to have like a personal opinion on like Anthony Fauci, and it's just like he's a big nerd doctor who gives information as he gets it. I mean, you don't need to like think about it any more than that. It doesn't matter if he's polling well, not to me at least, but it doesn't matter if he's polling well or whatever. He's just like some guy who's like the top freaking doctor. I don't know. And then at the same exact time, also, like there's the people that venerate Fauci and like all this stuff about science above all, and this is the guy that's telling the truth, and like in a sense that's true. And then but then there's just also this impulse that people have that they want like the Faucis of the world, the sort of the
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, they want the nerds to run the world, and it's like, well, I mean, we need to have like an actual solid path forward, because if you have like could you imagine like President Fauci and like, okay, and he would try and like have like a steady line on something. He never has a steady line. There's no like baseline. I don't think he's a particularly great communicator of these things either. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair.
I mean, that's usually why people have like representatives and like media people, but I guess
because you got to convince people of stuff.
He doesn't have one of those,
right?
But I don't know. Who knows? I mean, how long, he's been in office for a long time. He's been around since like Clinton and first Bush.
Hello. Well, I know him and Mark Allen talked about this as well about. Wow, you hear that?
Yeah.
All day, every day. Anyway, I lost my train of thought thinking about that, but yeah, I don't know. The Fauci thing is really interesting to me, specifically because he isn't. He's not particularly charismatic, and I don't know. He's
I mean,
not.
he's not like the people on TV. He doesn't have media training, and he doesn't
Not media training. He just kind of sucks at it. You know? All right. Here's kind of a funny story, and you might get a kick out of this one. This is a report from. This is a report from the. So I'll just read the headline. Trump and Pence departed amicably and have spoken since leaving office, former Pence chief of staff says. Now, if you remember on January 6th, there was literally crowds that Donald Trump had incited that were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." And now this guy, this guy says that they've departed amicably. Let me just read from the article. Mark Short, who served as chief of staff to former Vice President Mike Pence, said on Saturday that despite their differences, the former Vice President and former President Donald Trump departed amicably from the White House last month and have since spoken with each other. While Trump is slated to speak at the high-profile CPAC, oh, maybe we should do some live coverage of CPAC. That might be fun. Being held in Florida this week, Pence reportedly declined to participate this year, according to Politico. What do you make of this? What do you make of Mike Pence being like, "Oh yeah, we're good, we're cool"?
I mean, it's just the thing about the guy. Like, everybody's scared of the guy. He's I don't know what he does. He just like cajoles everybody, or he's got blackmail on him or something.
I mean,
everybody's just scared of him. So like they gotta everybody's gotta get in line for some reason.
My thing is like, what a cuck, like what a loser, what a fucking coward that he doesn't want to like.
Thing. He's a big like buttoned up like dork and like
buttoned up weenie that calls his wife mother.
Yeah, he can't be in the
presence of other women.
He was the vice president because nobody wanted to vote for him, but everybody liked him.
Nobody. Well, I mean, I don't know. If
all the terrible Republicans liked him. Like he's just a loser who's got like evil politics. He's like never done anything good.
He's only ever done any. I mean, he's
just the guy they promoted because his uncle works somewhere or something.
Attended President Joe Biden's inauguration last month and interacted with his successor, Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump departed for his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida and skipped the ceremony. Trump, who spent months disputing the validity of the election, sought to toss out votes in several states, pressured Pence to reject the results of the Electoral College during the January 6th certification process. In a letter to Congress, Pence contended that he could not unilaterally toss the results. Before the Capitol riot began, Trump spoke to a crowd that assembled not too far from the White House. Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us, Trump said. And if he doesn't, that will be a sad day for our country. And then apparently he didn't talk to him for a couple days. I don't know. I find this shit to be hilarious. Like the way that, like, I don't want to like get into like the Republicans or traitor talk because that's like, I think that's a pretty fraught road to go down, to be completely honest. Mostly because, and Anna Kasparian had a really good clip on this on Jacobin Weekend show. Like a lot of, Democrats right now and some Republicans are calling for a 9/11 commission type situation, which is just like, dragnet surveillance on Americans is going to be happening again. Cool. But the reality is that like at the very least, I suppose, like people thought that, and foolishly, I think, people foolishly thought that like Republicans would like come back to normal after that. And of course that's never going to happen. Like the idea, the entire conception of like and Nancy Pelosi said it herself, like she wants like a sane or like a strong Republican Party. And it's just like, what the hell are you talking about, lady?
I mean, they just want to do like Patriot Act 2 Golden Retriever. Like that's how, I mean, the only thing government really knows how to do is put people in jail and give companies tax credits and like sanction other countries. That's the only like 3 things the government knows how to do.
Wars, jails, and like
tax credits.
Yeah, neoliberalism.
Bill Gates gets $1 zillion for free.
Yeah. No, Bill Gates. Ooh. There was actually a pretty good video on him. Let me give a shout out to some more news. I can drop it in the chat. But he did a video on specifically like why like the billionaires of the world like always fuck it up when it comes to like the healthcare system. And here it is, how rich people keep screwing up global health. Definitely worth checking out. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat.
I mean, I don't think it's a how question; it's a why question.
Oh, I mean, we know why, because they benefit from it, right? Yeah. There we go. Boom, in the chat. I'm trying to figure out how to do StreamYard. It's like coming in like pretty new for me. So anyway, you got anything right now?
No. Gonna get the vaccine. Want a check, want a job. Can't get either. Just trying not to die at this point.
Oh,
that's all I got.
For you.
What's up with your hat? Why are you always wearing the hat?
I like the hat. I think it's a good look. What do you think? What do you think about the hat?
I think you're inside, so it looks dumb.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
Sorry, I'm a Kennedy fan. No hats.
Kennedy?
Yeah. You don't know about Kennedy and his no hat thing? Everybody.
Well, people don't wear hats anymore?
Everybody wore hats for like ever. Like all of like modern times or some stupid thing. But then Kennedy's like, I don't wear a hat. And everybody's like, I'm not wearing a hat either.
It's just like trends.
Then every hat maker killed themselves, I guess.
Damn. So basically what he did is he shorted hats, and he made huge money when the hat market tanked.
I mean, they talk about all the millennials killing businesses, but they don't talk about John Kennedy killing the hat game.
I hate to see it.
But yeah, that's why everybody used to wear hats and now they don't, because John Kennedy is such a sexy Catholic or something. You know who John Kennedy is? Not our senator.
No, the first one, the one that got shot.
There might have been one before him. I don't know.
His dad was Joe Kennedy. I mean, I don't know too much about the Kennedy lineage prior to Joe Kennedy, but I know that he
wasn't much going on.
Huh?
Wasn't much going on.
I mean, Joe Kennedy was tied up in all of the Irish organized crime in Boston.
I mean, I'm talking about before that. It's probably just some guy buying a paper for a plug nickel.
Yeah. So let's see here. There was another story I wanted to talk about. Where I wanted to just have a little bit of fun with Ted Cruz. He posted or
like Ted Luz
over the weekend or last week that was notable. Do you remember?
He took a trip.
He took a little trip to go to Cancun. Normally would be fine, right?
Well, he was just escorting his daughter, if you remember.
Well, let's set it up from the beginning. Ted Cruz. So over last week, there was some horrible, like, deep freezing within the state of Texas, right? There was a lot of electrical outages that many of the specifically fracking wells that failed. They were not like outfitted for heavy duty sort of like cold temperatures. They were legitimately not outfitted. Some of the wind farms froze up a little bit too for the exact same reason, but not to the same scale because the amount of energy dependency on oil and gas is way higher in Texas than it is on oil and gas is way higher in Texas than it is for wind. Now, one of the things that happened at the beginning was that Greg Abbott and a lot of these, dead-eyed psychopaths. Greg Abbott's the governor of Texas. They they just started blaming the windmills more than anything, and all this other kind of wild stuff. Regardless of any of that, and maybe I'll just find the clip. But
Texas is just got unregulated energy. So
well, they have unregulated energy, yes, but more than that, they have they're in the middle of a crisis right now, right? An emergency crisis where we're just many people don't have power. They're literally freezing. They can't get food. It's an actual legitimate crisis. And here's part of a clip from an interview that he did, Ted Cruz did with Sean Hannity, where Sean Hannity just tries to completely cover for Cruz, because in the middle of this crisis, Cruz decided to fly to Cancun. So let's watch this video and let's have a little piece of candy.
Now, Senator Ted Cruz tonight is facing the ire of the mob, the media for traveling.
Ire of a mob. The mob is coming for Ted Cruz.
Man, I hate when you light these torches and show up to Ted Cruz's house and he's already in Cancun.
Cancun, Mexico, with his daughters to drop them off and come home as Texas is still addressing the fallout and damage from severe weather. Now, in response, Senator Cruz tonight did say, in retrospect, he might have made a mistake, adding in a statement, in part,
I might have made a mistake.
Whoops.
To be a good dad. I flew down with them last night and I'm flying right back this afternoon. And he did. My staff and I are in constant communication with state, local leaders.
I had to go drop my daughters off in Cancun.
I had to change out of the senior frog shirt.
I couldn't let my dumb wife do it by herself or whatever.
I mean, that's a totally normal thing to get on a plane, go to where your kids are going, then go back on another plane. Pretty normal thing. Everybody can really relate to that.
Ted Cruz, Father of the Year.
Yeah.
Get to the bottom of what happened in Texas. Joining us now to talk about it is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. I have a piece of this story that nobody knows that you know to be true.
He's got the most trash beard I've ever seen in my entire life, by the way.
Didn't he give himself a mullet or something?
Maybe he did. I didn't see his own personal self barbershop skills. I imagine they're not good.
Well, I reckon he didn't pay for it. He's in Congress. They give him free haircuts. Can you tell?
I don't know if this man's ever had anybody cut his hair other than himself.
I mean, he's got a lot of bowls in his house.
True, and Governor Abbott knows to be true. And that is, I got contact very early in the week from the official meteorologist of my radio show, Joe Bastardi, frequent guest on this program at weatherbell.com. And he sent a note to both of you, to you and Governor Abbott. In that note, he said this is going to be far worse than I think others are predicting. You got in touch with him. The governor got in touch with him. You took it seriously,
sucking his balls.
And you worked hand in hand with the governor in the lead up to this, knowing this was all a big possibility. And this is days
also, somebody
before
else
that happened.
Not me. But if you zoom in to that pin on Sean Hannity's lapel, that is a CIA pin.
Is he in the CIA?
Maybe he is.
Or is
maybe just like the head of the Proud Boys, the leader of the Proud Boys, he's also a Fed.
I mean, maybe he's just an enthusiast.
Oh, he's a CIA enthusiast. That's pathetic.
He's a big fan. He's got
engaged, and I
know
from
a college pennant that just says CIA.
In my own conversations with you and Governor Abbott and with Joe Bastardi. Now,
I've been talking to all of
you
these very
and you
important
took your
people,
daughters to Cancun
including
and you
you,
came
Ted
back.
Cruz.
I think you can be a father and be the senator
So this is a very funny thing that keeps coming up.
of Texas. All this,
Like by going to by like fleeing Texas because his children said that, like, because his children said, because 10 and 12-year-olds are able to make like decisions on where the family goes, like at a snap point. Like, that's just Ted Cruz being a good father, and that's normal.
You know, like when we were kids, we used to say, "Hey, wake up, shitheads! We're going to Florida."
Yeah, Mom, we're going to Cancun. Shut up. Oh, we got a comment from Top Damage Wizard. Timeout. Didn't Cruz's friends leak text messages from his wife, especially stating that they were escaping the cold and inviting them? We're gonna get to that.
Well,
Just kidding, wife, everyone. Yeah, they had an entire like cohort of people planning this trip. Like, as soon as it got cold, everything froze and people lost power, and essentially, like, after Ted Cruz like put this lie forward, people leaked those text messages.
I mean,
which is very funny because like fuck Ted Cruz. They're just like, fuck Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz should have just passed a bill that got everybody tickets to Cancun. Then we could have just you rode the whole thing out.
Yeah, there you go. That's doing Congress right there. Now we're making some laws.
That's governing.
time and make a round trip, quick drop off trip, and come home.
Just drop off, just real quick.
Well, Sean, that's right.
Background Mexico.
You opened with you connected me with Joe early on before these storms actually even hit the state of Texas, and I got to say, you called me and told me Joe was very impressive. He knew his stuff, and I called him that evening and spent significant time on the phone with him talking through what he saw coming, and he was predicting not one but two major winter storms, the combination of which he believed would have an impact on Texas that would exceed anything we've seen in this state since 1899. And I thought it was a very impressive, a very serious. He sent me charts and data on what was coming. And you reached out, and I reached out to Governor Abbott and said, listen, this guy knows his stuff, and you ought to talk to him, and we helped connect them. And at the same time, Governor Abbott had already declared an emergency in all 254 counties all across Texas. And so I joined with John Cornyn in urging Joe Biden to declare a federal disaster to mirror the governor's request, which President Biden, to his credit, did. And so that was early on, right before these storms came. We knew they were serious. This week has been hell for the state of Texas. It has been two storms on top of each other. 4 million Texans lost power, no lights, many with no water. It has been frustrating. I'll tell you, Sean, a lot of Texans are mad or pissed off. How can it be that Texas, the energy capital of the world, can't turn our lights on and can't heat our homes? A lot of Texans are frustrated. This shouldn't have happened. I'll tell you, Heidi and me, we lost power for 2 days. Our house was dark. We had no heat. Actually, the fireplace behind me, we were all huddled around the fireplace because it was the only heat in the house. And after a couple of days, after the girls being really cold, it being in the teens and the 20s outside, our girls said, look, school's been canceled for the week. Can we take a trip and go somewhere?
Normal. Just so normal.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
We're going to Cancun.
Don't you want to get away?
Right. Warm.
Yeah, exactly.
And Heidi and I, as parents, we said, okay, sure. And so last night I flew down with them to the beach, and then I flew back this afternoon. I had initially planned to stay through the weekend and to work remotely there. But,
this was another one of those things that he kind of changed up on, because he changed the story like literally just now. Like, he said basically, oh yeah, I was gonna go do a quick like drop them off in Cancun like a normal dad, and then he just kind of like comes out right there. And he's like, yeah, I planned on working through the weekend, and then coming back. I was gonna work on Zoom. Oh yeah, I was gonna work on Zoom. That's what it was gonna be.
You know what they said in the Bible, huh? The best laid plans of mice and men, huh?
As I was heading down there, I started to have second thoughts almost immediately, because the crisis here in Texas, you need to be here on the ground as much as you can do by phone and Zoom. It's not the same as being here. And so I returned this afternoon, and I'm here working
enough of this.
to make sure to do everything we can to get the power turned on, but also fundamentally.
Enough of this. Well, anyway, the funniest fucking thing that ended up coming out of this, well, before the funny thing, like Ted Cruz obviously like is not interested in helping out Texans. He was like wants to go escape. He wants to go away, go to Cancun, whatever. I actually don't care if people go to Cancun or whatever, but like obviously he's trying to like the fact that he's like lying and backpedaling and all these other things. It's a very, very like ridiculous look. Our teen daughters have a hankering for senior frogs. What can I say? They like to party.
I mean, I think it's bad. Like he shouldn't. That's his job. Like he doesn't do anything. Like all he has to do is be available for these emergencies to deal with them. Like, I mean, when he's not like shoving energy company money in his pockets, like what else is he gonna do?
And that's the other thing too. Like part of the reason that people in Texas are like in the fucked situation that they have is that there is a and there's a lot of reporting going on in this, and I can find something, but ERCOT, it's basically the local authority on energy in Texas right now. We should absolutely have a nationalized grid of infrastructure that is run by the government and you pay it with your taxes. But what we have is a privatized infrastructure that's divided up, and companies like here it's Entergy, and then there's ones in other places that essentially just are toll collectors on the most basic of infrastructure that we should have, period. Right now, in this situation in Texas, they have like ERCOT is like the governing body, the authority over all of these, like over this free market, basically, of sort of like companies that compete for prices or whatever. And essentially, it's capitalism, baby. It's we're gonna try and get the best situation where we get the best deals, and the best innovator is gonna win, right? And how did that work out?
I mean, these things are just like organizations so people can govern themselves money.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And Ted Cruz is a supporter of this kind of deregulation. A lot of Democrats are, but not. This is definitely something that's almost like unique to Texas. It's because Texas is such a big state; it almost sort of commands its own region. Like Texas is super influential in a lot of things. That how like when textbooks, when they talk about like history textbooks and all this other kind of crap, they want to have like their 1776 project, like right-wing conservative perspective be like propaganda, really be given out to kids. So what they do is they target Texas. They target Texas in terms of like how they get their education policy governed, and so that like when you have the Texas textbooks, the Texas books, then essentially that's going to be like a model for the rest of the textbooks around the country. Texas is a significant state, right? Yeah. Anyway,
it's the biggest one.
Huh?
It's the biggest one.
Everything's bigger there. Yeah. Anyway, they're able to swing this sort of like deregulated, like capitalist utopia of free market energy distribution, and it fucking just shat itself like bigger than you could possibly imagine. Top Damage Wizard. I personally would never bro out with Ted. He would get you so busted. He would straight up tell his wife that he's going to Thailand, but it's totally for a work conference. It can't be helped.
What is that?
That's Robert.
Oh. Yeah, not Robert. Ted is bad. He's given Beto a pretty good platform though.
Beto's done though. Like Beto's done. So the one that I'm hearing that might run against him is like Julian Castro. Beto's such a loser, and like the thing with him is that like he like honestly like really the fact that he came out like so first off he failed so hard in the presidential election, one, is just embarrassing. And then two, I mean maybe I'm wrong, but two, he came out so hard against guns in Texas. Like that's career suicide right there.
I mean, you're the one who's always like, yeah, we should just not, we don't have to do what like the Republicans do, like have soft platforms. So like, why going against guns? Like a lot of people don't like guns, like especially in Texas, just because they've been like, whatever, what's that word? Where they just mess up the voting lines so that they can't have a voice about it.
No, I just don't think guns is a material issue for people in the same way that like a $15 minimum wage or higher even, or
well, having guns isn't a big issue materially, but it's just rhetoric. It's just rhetoric. Like they don't need 50 guns in your house, but
right. No, yeah, totally. You can I just don't think like there's much benefit to having a strong like anti-guns position. Now, regardless, like I don't particularly like guns myself. I think that they're like, I don't have any guns, whatever. But like I just don't know if it's something that can like fly at the moment. And also I think that there are more important issues. This is kind of critical. There are more important issues that can be addressed that would solve the gun problem, like that don't make things worse. Like the one of the, if we're gonna get into the gun conversation, the one thing that I would like hate to happen if like there was some kind of a gun reform, quote unquote, is that it would be a type of gun reform that would actually make more people end up in prison. You know, a carceral gun reform, because the people that would end up going to prison are not like the Yosemite Sam like guy. Like Lauren Boebert isn't going to go to prison for having too many guns because she has the ability to like get the proper paperwork for them or whatever. And most of like more poor people are going to be the ones that get caught, and they're going to be the ones that get busted first. They're going to get like crushed. They're going to be the ones that are stomped on more than the like real psychos.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I don't trust the Democrats to not do that. Honestly, I mean, I really don't trust the Democrats to not do that. I don't know. We got a couple minutes left. I did want to kind of get into one last thing, and this will be quick. So the MyPillow guy. What do you think about the MyPillow guy?
I've never used his pillows. I don't care about them.
I've had them. I have one of those pillows. It's not a good pillow. Not a very good pillow at all. Anyway, he's been very. I love that pillows are so important in politics now. It's very funny to me that like, like David Hogg, who's like one of the kids from one of the shootings. Like his school got shut up. Very traumatic situation, obviously. But he decided like he was going to create his own pillow company for some reason to like own the MyPillow guy, which is funny. But also he got like totally grifted in the process. Unfortunately, by some, I can get into that later. But anyway, the MyPillow guy, he's getting sued. It's very, very sad. So one of the things that he's been doing for he's released, he's been like questioning the results of the election. And one of the things that he's been focusing on is this company that creates some of these voting machines called Dominion. Have you heard about any of this?
Yeah, they're suing him because he's calling them liars, and they're like a big company who needs a reputation and stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to get to. MyPillow guy is getting sued by Dominion, CEO Mike Lindell, over election claims. The voting machine makers lawsuit alleges defamation and seeks more than $1.3 billion in damages. A pox on both their cringy houses. Oh, you mean on David Hogg? I have a little bit of sympathy for Hogg, but like he's definitely cringe.
He's like a teen. Like, who cares?
Yeah, that's the thing with him is like he's definitely posting cringe, but he's definitely still a kid. One of the largest makers of voting machines in the U.S. on Monday sued a prominent supporter of former President Donald Trump, alleging that the businessman had defamed the company with false accusations that it had rigged the 2020 election for Joe Biden. Dominion Voting Systems sued Mike Lindell, chief executive of Minnesota-based MyPillow Inc., and his company in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, seeking more than $1.3 billion in damage. Now, really quick, he's been going kind of crazy on this. He's been like going on Newsmax and talking about his like Twitter getting away and posting for him. He created this documentary with like the most like cringe B-roll stock footage. I don't know. Have you seen any of the
100% no, I've not.
I mean, it had a moment. I watched a good chunk of it. Very, very good. Very 100% like top level, better than Adam Curtis.
I don't have the strong desire to jam shit into my eyes and ears all the time like you do.
so I guess some people. I guess I'm just built differently.
Yeah. You might. I hope you kept the receipt.
Dominion Voting Systems sued Mike Lindell. In its complaint, the company cites a number of statements made by Mr. Lindell, including a media appearance, social media posts, and a 2-hour film claiming to prove widespread election fraud. Mr. Lindell said he helped to produce the film, which he released online in early February. The complaint alleges that Mr. Lindell made false claims about the integrity of Dominion's voting machines and that he knew no credible evidence supported his claim that the company had stolen the election from Mr. Trump. What Dominion is called the big lie. Now, I only bring this up because I think that it's very, very funny to me. Like, I love talking about this kind of crazy stuff, but I also find it very, very funny that that people start to talk about Mike Lindell like he's going to be the person that like replaces Trump after he's gone or whatever. And this dude is so freaking dumb and so like not charismatic that there's no way it could ever happen in a million years. I'm sorry.
I mean, let's not get too.
He's not gonna like become the president of the United. I'll eat my hat, the hat that I'm wearing on my head. If that happens.
Just don't say things that are impossible. Because I don't want to have the pillow presidency or whatever. It's ridiculous. Like I don't even know who this guy is. I wish Billy Mays was alive so he could run for president. I'd be better than this guy.
Billy Mays would be a Trump guy. You know that he would.
No, the ShamWow guy for sure.
He what?
The ShamWow guy for sure, but not Billy Mays.
ShamWow guy, 100%.
Yeah, he's like a comedy guy too, so he's like down the road. He made like that comedy movie you can only buy like on videotape because it was so like crude. You know the one?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Good. Don't look it up.
Okay. Well, I think we got to wrap it up because we got Andrea's show coming up, and we're going to toss y'all to her. You can listen. So tonight, we're going to be having on Jamie Peck. Keep an eye on this channel. Good Morning Comrade. We're going to be posting that interview tomorrow to our podcast feed and to WHIV. Listen to WHIV 102.3 FM in New Orleans. You can also get more information about our show, goodmorningcomrade.com. Thank you to everybody listening. Scott, anything you want to say on the way out?
Bye.
Bye-bye. Let me post Andrea's link before we go. But yeah, check out Cyberdemon531. She's our friend. She's been helping us out. She's been a guest on our show. And she's very good and cool. Here we go. Or Madman PowerPoint account in a movie. Yeah, you're right. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.